This video that you're about to watch, it's from the vault. We made this video 7 years ago, maybe more. Actually, I know it's more than that. But anyway, I want you to be aware that in this video, it was a long time ago. I was pretty fresh to YouTube. The audio was terrible. And that is part of the reason that this video was originally uploaded and then removed, because the editing was not great. But I do want to share the information that is in the video, and we are recovering a motorcycle seat. So it was recommended to, or at least requested, to repost this video. That's what I'm doing, and give me a little grace. Without further ado, here we go. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to recover a motorcycle seat. On this one, I'm going to pull the staples. I'm going to remove this cover. Then we'll make a new cover using the old pattern. This is an upholstery staple remover. Everything I use, all the tools I'll be using, I'll put in the description below, a link to purchase them if you need them. So the first part is pulling all the staples out. So what I'm doing is, if you can see, there's a couple different angles on the edge of this tool, and I can grab by going like this and start to pry it out, and then I can slide that right in there and pull that out. There's a few different ways you can do it, just whatever works for you. Now we've got all the staples out. Just going to slide this off. And there is our cover. What I'm going to do, I want to preserve this pattern, so I'm going to come through and cut the thread on the top stitch. And then I'm going to come back through and cut the thread from where the cover was sewn to the band. So if you're not aware of what a top stitch is, it's this piece this thread right here. This is your main seam right here, and then this is a top stitch. So I'm going to cut the thread, and I'm going to do that with an Olfa knife, which, like I said, anything I use in this video, I'll have a link in the description below. But it's just as simple as sliding that between here where it's sewn, and you can even pull it apart like this and cut your threads. And obviously it helps, the sharper the blade, the easier that's going to be. But so that's what I'm going to do right now, is cut that top stitch, and then I'll come back through and cut the main stitch. When a seat cover is made at the manufacturer, they have these darts, and they have them ever so often. And what that does is it allows you, as you're sewing it, to make sure the top and the bottom are lined up where you want them to be. This one appears to have several darts, so I don't need to really make my own, because when I sew this back together, I'm going to start here, I'm going to go that way, I'm going to flip it over, I'm going to start here and go the other way. And that just keeps me lined up in the middle all the way through. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut the main stitch now. So here we have our two pieces. This is going to be our main seat pattern, and this is what we would call the band. Alright, so there's the pattern. I'm going to make this piece. I'm putting a diamond pattern on it. The material I have does not have foam on it, and I want to give some dimension by putting some foam on it and then doing my lines. That's what I'm going to do next, and then I'll transfer this pattern to that, cut it out, and go from there. I'll show you that right now. What I have here is some foam. Anyway, what I'm going to do is turn my material over. Give that a second to tack up. Now we're going to transfer the pattern. I'm just using a piece of chalk. It's a good idea to weigh it down so it doesn't move. Okay, so as you can see, I've got some marks for my darts. So I'm just going to bring those in because I'm going to be cutting on the line. What I do is I'll take the material and I'll fold it in half right on the line, like that. And you bring your scissors in and snip it just like that. And now you have a dart, if you can see that. So I'm going to do that on all these. Okay, so now I want to find the center. And I believe that's going to be this dart and then whatever the center falls in to be here. And the reason I want to do that is because of the design that's going in it. I'll clean up my mess here and then we'll start doing some design work. I'm going to make a line for the center. Okay. And then I'm going to bring the pattern from the front part of the seat that so this is the back seat of a bike. I've already done the front seat. So I've got a pattern that I already have and I'm going to transfer it to this. work on the band, and this is a symmetrical design. So what I can do is I can put this material on upside down, and this outline is still going to be accurate because it's symmetrical. One thing you want to do is put a little bit of weight on this material to make sure that it doesn't move while you're tracing it. So that's what I'm going to do now, is just go around. This is what's going to be on the bottom side of the seat. I'm going to leave that long so I have extra material to pull while I'm stapling it on to make sure I get rid of the wrinkles. So I'm just going to start over here, try to lay out flat. And the darts that we put in previously on the other side, we're going to try and make sure those get put in here as well. Make sure I have all the darts. I'm gonna add this just so I know that's where it starts to turn, and I'm not sure if it's on the other piece. Now I'm gonna just make some marks here. I want to come, like I said, a little bit long, and this is no predetermined measurement. I just want to make sure I have plenty of material to pull. So now, like I said, I'm going to add these darts in. Now I'm going to cut it out and dart it. And on this being the side band, I'm not going to put any extra material on it, any of the foam. I also showed you earlier the darts, just real simple. And if you get more angled, like this, if you have more of an angle on the dart, it's going to be a sharper dart. See if you can see that. Versus a wider dart, where we come out real wide. And I don't really like these because they're not as precise. So I try to keep them pretty tight. Nice tight angle on them. So like I mentioned before, I'm going to start in the center. And we want to make sure these materials are face to face. And our center mark here that we just made from cutting the band is going to line up with the center mark here. So, and I'm keeping these white pieces longer just because I don't want them to unravel, and then after I sew everything together, I'll come back and trim them all. So here I want to be about a ½ inch away, and also, like I said, I'm going to start off in the center and then flip it over and go back the other way. Now this cover should fit our seat. So what I'm going to probably do is come into these inside corners, the ones that are going to be kind of difficult, and I'm going to remove some material. If we look back at the original band, you can see that the puckers that we have here were basically cut out. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up all the thread. I'm going to take out some material here so that it's not so difficult when we do the top stitch. Alright, here we go with the top stitch. When you're doing the top stitch, you want to pull the material as far apart as you can to get a tight stitch. Alright, we're going to turn this right side out and see how it fits. Now is the time to see the fruits of our labor. So I'm going to go ahead and try to turn this. I'll just go ahead and turn it right side out real quick. Maybe it'll make it easier to put on. On some vehicles and cars, it's easier to do it inside out and then turn it right side out while it's on the cushion. Alright, looks like we've got a winner. Here we are. I've actually already started before I started the camera. I've just got the front and center done, and now I'm going to move to the back, try and get it as centered as possible. And I think we're in pretty good shape on the centering. So just going to start. Alright, here's the final step. I'm going to be cutting the excess material here, and then it'll be ready to get back to the customer. So I'm just using a brand new razor blade, and I can pull on the material to make it cut a little easier, making sure that I'm below the staples. Okay, there we go. That's what the customer is going to get. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, if you found this video to be informational or helpful, please like and subscribe.